Hi there, this video is for all first year students who applied and submitted their prepayment for the 2019-2020 academic year before Friday, June 7th at 11:55 p.m. Specifically, I'm going to go over step 3 of the application process, which is reserving your space for fall and completing the remaining pages of the application. My name is Evelyn Ben-Baim. I'm the Assignments and Marketing Coordinator for Housing and Residence Life. One of my many responsibilities is our housing application system. I build out and manage all of our processes that you find in the housing portal. Let's break down the timeline for the period between step 2 and step 3 of the application process so you get a better picture of what's happening on the backside during the month of June and into July. Step 2 of the housing application closes on Friday, June 7th at 11:55 p.m. At this point in time, you should either be in a verified roommate group of 2 or not in a roommate group at all. As a reminder from my last video, if you are by yourself, make sure you delete any roommate group that you may have created. Once step 2 closes, you will not have the ability to add or make any changes to your roommate group. We will also not make any changes on our end, even if you email us and ask. From June 7th through the reopening on June 17th, we are doing things on the backside to make room selection go smoothly for you. We are making sure rooms are coded correctly and assigning you a lottery date and time. All eligible students will get their lottery time slot email sent to their active email address during the week of June 13th. Once the app closes on June 7th, I highly recommend that you do not log into the application until you get your lottery time slot email. Internet browsers store information from our housing portal in order to pull the portal up faster the next time you visit. Browsers remember our access rules, which prevent you potentially from accessing the next step, or it could create errors the next time you try to log into the system. Feel free to log into the housing portal after you get your lottery time slot email, as rules governing access at that point are based on your time slots. Lastly, make sure to clear your browser or clear your cache before you start to do your room selection process. During the room selection period, all eligible students will be able to move from the step 2 complete page into room selection as of their lottery date and time. If for some reason you cannot participate in room selection at your designated date and time, you can log in anytime after your date and time passes to pick your space and complete the remaining pages of the application. You must complete this by Monday, June 24th at 10 a.m. For students in roommate groups, group leaders have the ability to assign all members of the group to a space, but do not have the ability to complete their group member's application. If you are assigned to a space by another person, you must log into the application and complete the remaining pages by Monday, June 24th at 10 a.m. The application portal will close again on Monday, June 24th at 10 a.m. and will remain closed until Monday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. in order for us to process your room reservations and meal plans. At this point, we create charges for fall 2019 and pass them over to your student account. Provided you complete your application by June 24th, all of your housing application and dining charges will post to your student account in order for the first e-bills to go out. This is also in time for you to sign up for a payment plan with Student Business Services if that's something you'd like to do. Before you go into step 3, there's a couple different items for you to note. First, definitely have an idea of what your first, second, and third choices are for your housing. If you're in a roommate group, make sure that both you and your roommate are eligible for those preferences. Second, do both you and your roommate need break housing? You'll need to make sure that your first, second, and third choices are open or closed during university closures and breaks. So double check that information on our website. Third, are you looking to live in a living, learning, or theme community? Both you and your roommate would need to have indicated that preference within the application in order to create assignments in those areas. I'll make sure to note where you did that in the application during the demo portion of this video. Lastly, if you're participating in Brotherhood, Sisterhood, or Trio, please ignore your room selection, lottery date and time, and contact me directly regarding your room assignment. So your goal for room selection is to have a fully completed application by June 24th at 10 a.m. But what does actually like fully completed mean? So to hit this goal, so group leaders and non-group students, you should have reserved a space for yourself and anybody else in your group. Second, all students should have gone back into the application and picked their swipe plan. You also should have picked the flex portion of your meal plan. You should have accepted or declined your renter's insurance. And everyone should have landed on the last page of the application, which is called application status. And that's the page where you can see all of your assignment details, occupancy details on the suite you're assigned to, and it also lists your meal plan selections. All right, so now that we've talked over what's going on in the background for step 2, what you need to do, we're going to transition over into the application. I'm going to show you exactly how to go through this. So in terms of my test user, the role that I'm playing in this demo is that of a group leader or of somebody who is doing room selection by themselves. If you are someone who is just a member of a group, so someone else is doing your assignment, feel free to fast forward this video till you see meal plan part 1 on your screen or any of the meal plan pages, because when you log in, the system will see that you have an assignment already and take you to the meal plan section of your application so you can do the meal plan in the remaining pages of your app. So feel free to go to that part. So for the rest of you, I am going to transition out of my slides here and go into the application. Pardon me while I log into my test user. I'm using my same test user as my last video, Archibald, in my group with Sammy. Going back into my academic year application. So step 2 of the first year application complete is where most of you will be when you open up the application to participate in room selection. If you land somewhere else, simply click through the pages until you get here. In my last video, we ended on this page, so this probably looks familiar to a lot of you. Your lottery date and time are listed in the middle of this page. See, mine is right here. You will not be able to advance past this page until this date and time. Your lottery date and times will be in June. Mine is set for April for the sake of this video. Before we get started, a quick reminder about the Living Learning Theme Community section. In order to select a space in a Living Learning or Theme Community, you must have indicated that preference over here, LLTC interest, during step 1. So feel free to go back and double check this at any time before you go in and select a room. So when your lottery date and time has arrived, you can scroll down to the bottom of this page and it will see that it's your time and it will allow you to pass this page. So you can click on Go to Room Selection. The first section of room selection is the building selection page. If you indicated during step 1 of the application that you would need housing over closures and breaks, you'll be reminded of this need with a red notification on the top of the page. Here, break housing. If you said no to break housing earlier, then you won't see this notification. Scrolling down a little bit, so I'm going to show you these. You'll see an informational card for all of the buildings you're eligible to live in. Now, you'll only see best if you meet the GPA requirement, and you'll only see Downing if you have been admitted to the Honors College. I have my test user set up to see everything so you can see what things look like. Noted on the cards is a brief description of the building, whether or not it's opened or closed to break housing, and lists where any of the LLTCs are located. So for example, Best, this hall is closed during breaks, whereas over here, Hoyt, this hall is open during breaks. There's some LLTCs here. Hoyt Hall's home to Spectrum, it's located here. Trio the 9th. Scroll down a little bit. This hall is closed, this hall is open. So those are some things you're going to really want to pay attention to as you go through and look for your spaces. To To move to the next page, you would select the select button on the card. Me and my roommate will want to live in Putnam, and neither of us needs break housing, so that works because Putnam's closed. So I'm going to hit the select button. The next page is the available spaces list. This page will show you all of the open spaces in the complex you selected on the previous page. As you can see, here's the complex filter. I picked Putnam on the last page, and it's checked here on this page, filtering this out. Let's talk about these different filters you see on the left side first. If you want to change your building, you can either use the Go Back button, right here on the bottom of the page, or you can uncheck and check other options under this filter. If you're not super familiar with your options, I recommend using the Go Back button so you can read about your options first. Obviously, your complex filter just lists the names of these areas, whereas if you use the Go Back button, it will tell you what is open and closed during breaks, where the LLTCs are, etc. So it would be better if you're unfamiliar with spaces to go back to the start and then proceed. For first year students, don't use this room type filter. You are only eligible for double spaces, so you're automatically only going to see double spaces. The communities filter, which is this third one down, will show you a preferred living, learning, or theme community. Be careful with this and make sure you either clear the complex filter or have the correct building selected in addition to your LLTC. For example, I have Putnam selected, but I also want Spectrum. When no spaces meeting your criteria are available, you'll get this message saying there are no rooms. You will get the same error message when you check 2 communities. You can only filter by 1 community at a time. You'll also get this message, I'm going to uncheck both of these, if you did not select and save an LLTC preference during step 1. So let's see here. I don't think I selected this. So I didn't select health and wellness up here during step 1. So it's telling me there's no rooms, I didn't select that. So this is the outcome you'll get when you did not make the selection and you try to see available spaces. So let me clear this out and go back to where we were. Next, let's look at the cards on the page. Similar to the cards on the building selection page, the cards on this page show you information about the available rooms in the building. Below the little floor plan on the card, I know the floor plan's small, you'll be able to see a bigger picture of it on the next page. You'll find the room number and what floor the room is on. So the room number, Putnam ground floor. I highly recommend that if where in the building you are living is important to you, you have the complex plan open on another tab. So for example, since I'm looking at Putnam right now, I'm going to go out here and I've got my first year students open on the Housing and Residence Life website. I'm going to open up Putnam, and on all of our complex pages we've got this wondering where your room is in relation to others, review the complex plan. So if you open this up, this is a super helpful PDF that will show you where all the rooms are in relation to others, relation to direction, and what rooms are suites with other rooms. So obviously we've got north marked on here so you can tell which direction rooms and windows may be pointing, and then you can also see by the bolded walls what rooms are suites. So door 7 and 9 is a suite. This is the bathroom. Anything that you see that's by itself, this would be a staff room. This is helpful too, like if you're trying to match up with another roommate group and fill a suite, you could put yourselves in 22 and then tell the other group to put themselves in 20. Or if you really want an end unit with no neighbors on one side, you can look for 29s. So try to have that open, or maybe print a copy and have it with you when you're doing your room selection. Now I'm going to go back to my available spaces list. Since my test user is a male, the system will only show me male spaces, hence the gender designation of male here on the card. The most important item that you're going to find on these cards is the number of spaces open out of 2 spaces. So we're looking right here at this section now. If you're in a roommate group of 2 people, you must look for a card that has 2 spaces open out of 2 spaces. If you're doing room selection by yourself, it is in your best interest to assign yourself to a space that has 1 space open out of 2 spaces, because then you are controlling who your roommate is. Let's look a little closer at these available spaces. Here on Putnam 4, it says there are 2 spaces open out of 2, which is good because that's what I need. I'm in a roommate group. But I also know from looking at the complex plan that Putnam 2 must be filled because it's not showing up here because they are in order. I can see this and learn more by clicking on the Show Room Info. And there's a better floor plan for you. Just going to scroll down so we can talk about this. This link verifies that 2 and 4 are indeed connected. That's just the suite information. And then shows me who is living in the other side of the suite. So it shows in 2 that these 2 test users are there, and then shows, remember how 4 showed that 2 of 2 spaces were open? Yes, 1, 2 spaces are open. Just like in the roommate matching section that we did during step 2 of the process, I can review these students' profiles by clicking on View Profile, and I can also send them messages through the application if I'd like. To return to the previous screen, I can use this Go Back button down here. Let's look at Putnam 6. There is 1 space out of 2 available here. Again, it shows me suite information. 6 and 8 are connected, and it allows me to see the information of who's in the suite. I can look at their profile information. Let's see how they answered their questions. This is again one of my test users, so they're not fully completed here. And click Go Back. And then go back again to go back to the available spaces list. So one note here. If you're not in a roommate group, so if you're by yourself, it is absolutely essential that you use that View Profile link and read about the other students in the space before just assigning yourself into a room. We will be forcing consolidation within the application, so the chances of you placing yourself into a vacant room are pretty small. But if you do place yourself into a vacant room, you do lose control over who else goes into that space. We also reserve the right to move you to a different space if you do that, so it's really in your best interest to read through profiles and find the best space to yourself when you have the opportunity to do it. So now that we've learned how to look at available spaces and determine what's best for ourselves or our roommate groups, let's move on and actually create our assignments. So again, I'm in a roommate group, so I'm looking for a 2 out of 2. Once you've decided on the room you want to book, add the room to your cart by clicking Add to Cart. And I'm going to do Putnam 4. Add to Cart. Once you do that, you can see that the button has changed, and then you'll also note in the header, you see like a little cart pop up, and then it gives you 10 minutes to complete the next 2 pages. Once you've added your item to your cart, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click the Save and Continue button. If you're the group leader, you're going to see 2 sections on the Assign Beds page. You're going to see My Room, and it'll have your information here. I'm the group leader. And then it will also have your confirmed roommate here. That's where I have Sam's information. If you are doing room selection by yourself, you will just have this top section here with the buttons below. So on this page, regardless if you've got 1 or 2 people, you are going to use the drop downs to assign the bed space. So because there's 2 beds available in this room and I have 2 people, I'm going to assign 1 person to one of the spaces. I'm going to put myself here in the one, and then I'm going to put Sam in the other one. Once you have assigned all the people on this page to a bed space, click the Assign Beds button. On the confirmation page, it just shows you what you did on the last page. We're on Putnam 4, Putnam ground floor. Putnam 4-1 is where I placed myself. Putnam 4-2 is where I put Sam the Badger. Now nothing has been done yet, so once you hit Save and Continue, clicking this button actually creates your reservations in our system on the back side. So make sure you do this and don't log out before you do this. Yay! Okay, so now we are at meal plans. All right, so if you were a group member and someone created an assignment for you, this is where when you log back in, the system will read that you have an assignment and it will pop you back onto this page, and you'll be completing this page and the rest of the pages till you get to the application status, which is the last page of the application. So the meal plans are a 2-step process where you pick your swipe plan and then you pick your flex plan. And we do talk about this pretty extensively at Fast Track, so I'm not going to go too in-depth on it. And there is obviously a lot of information on the page. If you're unsure about what meal plan to pick, do feel free to call our office and talk to the staff. We can walk you through these, kind of offer our advice and thoughts on it. You can also change your meal plans through the first 2 weeks of the semester. So if you get here and your meal plan just isn't working for you, we can help you change to another one as well. So once you know which swipe plan you'd like, pick that one from the drop down on this page. So I know that since I'm going to be living down here in the valley in Putnam, I really like to go to the Commons. I'm going to do Anytime at the Commons. So part 2 is my flex. And then it does remind you too here, so it can help you use this little chart that I've selected the Anytime, so I know that I'm looking at this line of this chart here. So I know since I picked the Anytime, but I also like to go up to the Student Center and get little things at Starbucks and kind of go out with my friends a lot. I know the $100 comes with it, but I'm going to increase mine a little bit and do $200 instead, because I know I'll probably use it. And then once you've selected your flex amount, hit Save and Continue. All right, the next page has to do with renter's insurance. So as a reminder, EMU assumes no responsibility and provides no insurance or financial protection for your personal property. So that means if you have a fire, a flood, theft, anything like that while you're here on campus, we're not liable for your belongings. We will not give you money to replace them. If you damage something, you're responsible for it. So it's important for you to check out renter's insurance and make sure you have it when you come to campus. There are lots of different renter's insurance companies out there. You can also, schedule items on your parents' homeowner's insurance policies. So it's totally up to you what you want to go with and how you want to secure it. GradGuards is just a company that we partner with that we think is really good. You do not have to purchase with them. It's just one option. Just to note, we do not get any money or kickbacks from this company. We just think it's good and a good option for you. So definitely take a read through of their information here on the website, and then to either accept or decline coverage, hit this Continue to Step 2 button. And then they do have a lot of information here. Good thing about their coverage is it does start right before early move-in begins. So if you are coming to campus for early move-in, you are covered for that period. They pull a lot of your information from our system already, so that makes it a little bit easier. And what you can do is either you can go right to their website and get signed up, or you can decline coverage here. Another cool thing is you can actually send them your parent or guardian's information if you would rather have GradGuard contact them about this. You can also come back into this later on. So if you want to talk to your family or friends or whoever you talk to about these kind of things, and then maybe sign up closer to school starting, you can always come back into the application and sign up for the service closer to school starting too. So because I'm in as a test user, I don't want to mess up GradGuard's system. I'm going to do my decline coverage right here. If you do this too, I want to show you this. You can have them remind you later and contact you via text or email later. And then, again, like I mentioned, you can give them your parents' or guardians' information so they can reach out to them to provide them information about this coverage. So again, I'm a test user, so I'm just going to decline my stuff right now. So once you have gone through that stuff, whether you accept or decline, you'll hit this page that will it'll automatically redirect you, or if you are impatient, you can click this button here and it will pop you back to the housing application. And within the housing application, it will give you an update of what you did. Obviously, I declined. And then regardless of what your message says, you can just hit the save and continue button at the bottom of the page. And that's it. You are on the magical application status page. And as you can see, you've got a green block notification there saying your application is complete. This is the last page. And as I mentioned really early on, everything that you have done and selected within the application can be seen on this page. So first thing there is our meal plan information that we just selected. As you remember, I picked the 200 Flex and the Anytime meal plan. So if I contacted the office next week and changed it, once that change is made, I would be able to see that change here. My booking information is there. As you remember, I booked Putnam 4. You can see the occupancy information for that suite. So I booked 4 for me and my friend Sam, and then the information about the other guys that were in the other side of the suite is here. This information block right here is really helpful too. If you, let's say you book you and your roommate in one side of a suite and nobody's in this side of the suite, you can log into the application multiple times during the summer, and as more and more people sign up for spaces, once people sign up for the opposite side or fill empty spaces, their information will populate here so you can see who you'll be being suite mates or being roommates with, and send them messages or see information about them in real time as assignments are made. So now that we've hit this last page of the application, I'm going to exit this and go back to my slides. Once again, I want to thank you for watching this long video. Seeing and hearing how this process works will help you be more successful in completing your application. If you have any questions about the housing application, feel free to contact me at the email address listed on the screen. Email is usually the best way to reach out to me. I am also at most of the Fast Track presentations. Shoot me an email and let me know what Fast Track you'll be at, and we can try to meet up. If you're working full-time and need help after hours, I'm also happy to schedule a call with you after business hours. Email me to set this up if you'd like. And again, thank you for watching, and on behalf of Housing and Residence Life, we're all very excited to see you this fall.